Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. During October, everything we talk about and discuss is going to be creepy. In the vast north, at the edge of the world, sits the wall. The wall is 300 miles long and reaches over 700 feet high, 900 feet in some areas. It's rumored to have been built in the Age of Heroes by Bran the Builder, along with the help of the giants and the children of the forest. Legend says that ancient spells are woven into the very foundation of the blue-gray ice, stone, and earth. The wall is maintained by the Night's Watch. The Night's Watch is a military order that defends the realms of men against what lies beyond the wall. Once upon a time, serving in the Night's Watch was an honor. The Black Brothers were lords and kings alike, giving up titles and lands for the honor of being the sword in the darkness and the shield that guards the realms of men. Now, the Night's Watch is an all but forgotten order, forsaken by kings and lords alike. It's looked at now as merely a way to escape punishment. Some poor lads take the black as a way to have a sure bed, fire, and food in the winter. Gone are the days Yoren used to boast of. Time was a man in the black was feasted from dawn to Winterfell, and even high lords called it an honor to shelter him under their roofs, he said bitterly. Now, cravens like you want coin for a bite of a wormy apple. The Night's Watch is a shadow of what it used to be. In the days of Aegon's conquest, the Night's Watch boasted numbers of 10,000 brothers in black. But now they're under 1,000. Some even suggest they're under 500. The Black Crows raise 19 castles along the wall, but only 3 of them are manned. The others have fell to a ruin. Shadow Tower, Castle Black, and East Watch by the Sea are the only castles that are currently in operation. The rest of the castles are what Old Nan calls ghost castles. Centennial Stand, Greyguard, Storndor, Hoarfrost Hill, Icemark, Deep Lake, Queen's Gate, Oakenshield, Woods Watch by the Pool, Sable Hall, Rhymegate, Long Barrow, Queen Guard, West Watch by the Bridge, the Torches. They're all ghost castles, shadows of better days. But the oldest and most ghostly castle on the wall is the Night Fort. It was the first castle ever raised, and it has some grisly tales that accompany its existence. It's the only castle on the wall whose steps are carved directly into the ice, which could mean it was constructed along with the wall itself. According to maesters who served at the Night Fort, the castle was rebuilt many times over thousands of years, with only deep stone vaults remaining from its first form. The Night Fort has broken towers and a maze of tunnels connecting to vaults and more tunnels. Its buildings included an octagon-shaped kitchen with a domed ceiling, a dungeon capable of holding 500 prisoners, a brewhouse, a bathhouse, a forge, a library, a bell house, and a great hall that's infested with rats and only has one wall remaining. The yards were small forests where spindly trees rubbed their bare branches together and dead leaves scuttled like roaches across patches of old snow. Trees are growing where the stables had been, and a twisted white weirwood was pushing up through a gaping hole, its bone-white branches reaching for the sun. The Night Fort is also the home of the mysterious Black Gate. Black Gate it's called, but it's white as bone because it's a weirwood. A glow comes from the wood like milk and moonlight, so faint it scarcely seems to touch anything beyond the door itself. On the door is a face. The face is old and pale, wrinkled and shrunken. It looks dead. Its mouth and eyes closed, its cheeks sunken, its brow withered, its chin sagging. If a man could live for 1,000 years and never die but just grow older, his face might come to look like that. When you're standing in front of it, the door opens its eyes. Its eyes are white and blind. "Who are you?" the door will ask. If you're a man of the night's watch, you can pass after you say the vows and the door gives its approval. The door's lips will open wide and wider still, until nothing at all remains but a great gaping mouth and a ring of wrinkles to pass beyond the wall. The Night Fort appears in some of old Nan's scariest stories. It was here that the Night King had reigned before his name was wiped from the memory of man. This was where the Rat Cook had served the Andal King his prince and bacon pie, where the 79 Centennials stood their watch, where brave young Danny Flint had been raped and murdered. This was the castle where King Sherrod had called down his curse on the Andals of old, where the Prentice boys had faced the thing that came in the night, where blind Simon Star-Eyes had seen the hellhounds fighting. Mad Axe had once walked these yards and climbed these towers, butchering his brothers in the dark. All that had happened hundreds and thousands of years ago, to be sure, and some maybe never happened at all. There are ghosts here, old ghosts, from before the old king, even before Aegon the Dragon. 79 deserters who went south to be outlaws. One was Lord Ryswell's youngest son, so when they reached the Barrowlands, they sought shelter at his castle. But Lord Ryswell took them captive and returned them to the Night Fort. The Lord Commander had holes dug in the top of the wall, and he put the deserters in them and sealed them up alive in the ice. They have spears and horns, and they all face north. The 79 Centennials, they're called. They left their post in life, so in death their watch goes on forever. Years later, when Lord Ryswell was old and dying, he had himself carried to the Night Fort so he could take the black and stand beside his son. He'd sent him back to the wall for honor's sake, but he loved him still, so he came to share his watch. There is also the legend of the Night's Queen and the Night's King. The Night's King had been the 13th man to lead the Night's Watch, a warrior who knew no fear, and that was the fault in him, for all men must know fear. A woman was his downfall, a woman glimpsed from atop the wall, with skin as white as the moon and eyes like blue stars. Fearing nothing, he chased her and caught her and loved her, though her skin was cold as ice. And when he gave his seed to her, he gave his soul as well. He brought her back to the Night Fort and proclaimed her a queen and himself her king. And with strange sorceries, he bound his sworn brothers to his will. For 13 years they had ruled, Night's King and his corpse queen, till finally the Stark of Winterfell and Yorman of the Wildlings had joined to free the Watch from bondage. After his fall, when it was found he had been sacrificing to the others, all records of the Night King had been destroyed, his very name forbidden. Some say he was a Bolton, some say a Magnor out of Skagos, some say a Umber, Flint, or Nori. Some would have you think he was a Woodfoot, from them who ruled Bear Island before the Iron Men came. He never was. He was a Stark, the brother of the man who brought him down. He was a Stark of Winterfell, and who can say, mayhaps his name was Brandon. Then there's the tale of the Rat Cook. The Rat Cook had cooked the son of the Andal King in a big pie with onions and carrots, mushrooms, lots of pepper and salt, a rasher of bacon, and a dark red Dornish wine. Then he served him to his father, who praised the taste and had a second slice. Afterward, the gods transformed the cook into a monstrous white rat who could only eat his own young. He had roamed the Night Fort ever since, devouring his children, but still his hunger was not satisfied. It was not for the murder that the gods cursed him, nor for serving the Andal King his son in a pie. A man has his right to vengeance, but he slew a guest beneath his roof, and that the gods cannot forgive. The grisly tales go on and on. There's Mad Axe, and how he took his boots off and prowled the castle halls barefoot in the dark, with never a sound to tell you where he was except for the drops of blood that fell from his axe and his elbows and the end of his wet red beard. He would murder his brothers in the cold of night, letting their blood soak the floors of the Night Fort. Then there was the thing that came in the night, The Prentice boys all saw it, but afterwards, when they told their Lord Commander, every description had been different, and 3 died within the year, and the 4th went mad, and 100 years later, when the thing had come again, the Prentice boys were seen shambling along behind it, all in chains. And the wildlings all know the tale of Arson Ice Axe. The wildling Arson Ice Axe wanted to pass the wall. He had been halfway through the wall when his tunnel was found by rangers from the Night Fort. They did not trouble to disturb him at his digging, only sealed the way behind him with ice and stone and snow. Buried alive. Dolores Ed used to say that if you pressed your ear flat to the wall, you could still hear Arson chipping away with his axe. Then there's brave young Danny Flint. Brave Danny Flint, the song goes. She was a girl who dressed like a boy to join the Night's Watch. Danny was raped and murdered at the Night Fort, and her ghost still haunts the abandoned fortress. It was only 300 years before Aegon's conquest that the Lord Commanders of the Night Fort and the Snowgate would go to war on each other. They both would eventually lose their heads to the Stark and Winterfell. So you see, the Night Fort is a dreadful place, a haunted ruin. But some whisper the Night Fort is the only castle on the wall that matters. And the Night Fort holds the key to beating back the long night, for it was the Night Fort that was built to defend the realms of men, the fortress to shield the swords in the darkness. What do you guys think about the Night Fort? Could the Night Fort hold the key to destroying the White Walkers? Is there something in the Night Fort's library? Is there something magical about that place? I mean, the door alone makes me think that the Night Fort is important. Like there's an actual weirwood tree that morphs into a door in this castle. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children. See you tomorrow.